You're listening to the Sports Scramble podcast, where four friends serve up a weekly plate of sports with a side of SEC bias. Now, here are your hosts, Chet, Jacob, Wade, and Tyler.
Let's go!
Welcome into this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Belly Up Sports. Got the three of us tonight: Chad, Tyler, Jacob. Wade's got his 1 year anniversary. Congratulations to him and his bride. Little golf clap all around. Yes, congratulations. Year ago, we were betting March Madness picks and watching Freddie walk.
Who's we? It was just you.
Okay, I was betting March Madness picks and I was winning March Madness picks. So that's the key statement there, Tyler. I was winning picks.
Yeah,
wasn't just bets. So, but it's springtime. Love is in the air with the anniversary, and March Madness is in the air. Golf is in the air. Everything's going on, and we're gonna start it with golf. But before we get into the Players Championship, we got to discuss our current status of the golf games before the big match we got coming up in a month, which, Tyler, will miss you. And I know we talked pre-show. You haven't been able to golf unless you go out to the sugarcane fields, since your course doesn't have a driving range. But I would love to see you do that, Tyler. I think that's a perfect niche on TikTok. Just tee it up in the sugarcane fields and just send golf balls. What are the odds we get you to do that?
we'll see. But I definitely want to get back to the course. The weather's been a little bit inconsistent. I woke up today. It was windy. It was the wind was just whistling all in game. Last time that I checked, it's 50 degrees. So when it's ever back to 70 degrees and sunny, I'll be back to the course whenever I get some time, especially on my off days.
Yeah, I'm no stranger to the wind out here. It's the hilly region of Texas. The wind can pick up. And I was telling Jacob, I got that new Garmin R10 little simulator I put behind me, the launch monitor. About 20, 25 mile an hour winds in my face. And the RPMs on my shots were way up there, way more expected than what they typically should be. So it makes things a little more interesting when you got to fight the elements. But I'm getting the game dialed, Jacob. I'm getting ready for Dallas. We actually a month out from today, we'll be heading out there. So make sure you stay tuned to the YouTube. Subscribe to our friend over at Rise to the Occasion, Josh. Helped get everything set up. We'll be meeting up with him. We'll be filming some golf content and releasing it on both of our channels. So you got to subscribe to both to see the full videos. But Jacob, what's the current status of your golf game? What's the state of the union? Do better than Biden did a couple weeks ago. What's your state of the union on golf game?
Well, all I got to do is make contact if that's the case. But no, it's going good. It's getting dialed. I think the short game is coming around. Long game I got to work on. I think I'm gonna do something a little spicy. I've never done it before. I'm gonna go to a TaylorMade fitting, I think.
Ooh.
In Mobile in a couple weeks. So it's like 2 weeks out.
Nice. If you show up with that new QI10 driver, I'm going to be a little upset because I mentioned last week I went to that fitting. Yeah, I walked away with the ping. I really wanted that TaylorMade, but I know the ping was the right choice for me. But watching Scottie Scheffler win the Players and seeing that QI10 all over the place, Rory hitting bombs, and then of course my guy I bet on Victor Hovland. Just terrible, just absolutely terrible. What is he swinging a ping? And I was like, is this a sign? Did I get the wrong club?
Can I have a refund?
Well, yeah. Here's the deal. I think it's pretty cool because I think everybody views Victor Hovland as the ping athlete.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I feel like it's not him. I feel like Sahith Theegala is the guy for ping.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the guy for ping.
That makes me feel better. So. I mean, what other notable golfers we got? Victor Hovland, Sahith. Willie Z's a Titleist guy, right?
He is.
Okay.
Corey Connors is a ping guy. There's a lot of guys that are ping guys. Is Hideki Matsuyama, is he still a ping guy? No.
I think
Srixon?
Yes, he is Srixon. But does Srixon make drivers?
They do. Yeah,
really?
They do. Yeah, they got into the driver world. They used to just be irons. Well, they used to be golf balls. Like that was
Yeah.
their thing. And then they got into clubs. They still don't make putters. They're the combination of Srixon and Cleveland.
That's right.
They're
Yeah,
together.
the wedges are the Cleveland wedges. Yeah. So Brooks uses a Srixon driver.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. There's probably some other golfers. Their names are, but I'm gonna stick with the ping. I was out at the range today working on it. We're looking good. It's low bullets, and that works when it's windy. That's what works. Shout out Neil. We'll be seeing him that weekend. Grabbing some grub with Neil, breaking bread, doing what we do. So yeah, it'll be a fun little long weekend in about a month. It'll be right after Masters. So we'll do a podcast with Josh while we're in our Airbnb. Airbnb looks sick. I think it's got a pool table, so maybe we could go a little live stream pool on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something set up.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? So that'll be fun. But yeah, this spring, this is my favorite time of the year. Of course, the allergies are starting. I cut my grass this weekend, and I didn't. So I was reading. I'm all in on grass TikTok, right? I'm putting out the chemicals and the weed
Next this
killers.
means gonna be playing lawn mowing simulator.
I mean, I downloaded it. Don't have enough. I don't know if I have enough space for the update though, since Call of Duty takes up like the entire hard drive of the Xbox. Calling Jacob at Home Depot. Hey, what's the right stuff? What do I need to get? And I was out there cutting the grass, and they say on lawn TikTok that you're supposed to let the grass clippings stay on the yard. You're not supposed to bag them the first couple cuts because it's nutrients. It helps it. Well, let me tell you what. I got a self-propelled lawnmower. This sucker was not self-propelled with the amount of grass clippings that were building up in underneath. I was struggling. So I got to get out there and kind of spread it around, make it look nice, not all clumpy. But I think I'm gonna start bagging it. So, Fletch, you got any? You've been working the outdoor section at Home Depot. Any wild requests you've gotten the past couple of weeks from the lawn care pros?
No, not in the last couple of weeks. No, I haven't actually spent too much time out there. It's weather's been kind of crappy, so just hadn't really had the time. Kind of like to Tyler's point, Louisiana, whatever happens there happens over here. So that's just how it works. So yeah, the weather's been questionable. So no, I haven't been able to go outside. I haven't been able to go to the golf course. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm sad. So yeah, I need to get out to the golf course. My schedule is not really allowing me too much this week.
Yep.
So it kind of sucks, but I guess I'll fill the void with some basketball.
There you go. March Madness kicking off Thursday, right, Tyler? That's first.
Well, you have the first four in tomorrow. Kick it off on
right.
Tuesday, but I'm probably not going to tune into that. I'm just going to get right into the action on Thursday and Friday, and then the women's as well kicks off on Friday.
What's the explain to me? I've been hearing it thrown around a lot. Last four in, first four out. What? I think we talked about this like a month ago. What does that mean?
I mean, it's pretty much like the college football playoff terms. Like if you're a 5 and a 6, that would pretty much be like the first two teams out. So pretty much what the bubble is like. If you did like the bracketology, that they have like the last four buys. If you're in the last four buys, then you're not going to be in the play-in game. And if you're the last four in, then you're automatically in the play-in game. What was different about this year, there was
they're all in the tournament.
Yeah, they're in the tournament. They're in the field of 68, what it starts off as, and then it goes to the field of 64. So the first four games are in Dayton, Ohio. That's pretty much been for as many years as ever since the first four has been in existence. But what's different of this year is like there were so many bid stealers. So usually you see the play-in be 11v11. This year it's 2 10v10s. So there were just so many bid stealers this year, which makes this year a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the like last four in, first four out, whatever. All the I don't know what that means. So are these people like are they predicting that they're going to miss the tournament? Like what's going on here? But last four in are the play-ins.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the play-in to get into the actual field of 64.
Gotcha. So we're gonna talk about the March Madness. We're gonna make live picks, have a bracket going on here in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, I want to get into. We mentioned the golf, but let's talk about Players Championship. I had some skin in the game. I said on last week's show, if you don't bet Scottie Scheffler to win, you're insane. If you don't bet him top 5, honestly, for the rest of the year, it's free money. I mean, with how he is playing, he is primed to go on a Tiger Woods-esque run. He's got about 11 more years to be at the number 1 in a row to match what Tiger did. So I don't know if that's happening in terms of consecutive weeks at number 1, but he's got a chance to just go on a domination like Tiger Woods did in the early 2000s. I mean, he won last week at the API, wins this week at the Players, first back-to-back Players champion. Was 5 shots back going into Sunday, and then just shoots I think he shot 8 under to take it by a stroke. Let's talk about that Wyndham Clark putt on 18 to force a playoff. Heart goes out for the man because that one's tough. That is I saw a picture and it said, I don't know how this ball doesn't go in. 3/4 of the ball was in the cup. And to have it lip out like that and come back out is I mean, I was watching it on my phone because we were coming back from Houston. And of course, like I said, I bet Scottie to win. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, oh, that's going in. Oh no, we're going to a playoff. That's going in. It goes in. I was like, oh. And I jumped up because it lipped out, and you just see his face. It was complete opposite emotion from me. But Futch, is that the worst lip out or the worst pain you've ever seen from a lip out in terms of the Players is basically the 5th major.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst. That's the worst one I've ever seen. The only thing that could have been worse is if it came back to him, but that's tough. I mean, that's really hard. The fact that the ball nearly disappears.
Right, it goes
when you slow it down. I mean, nearly disappears. You see, maybe a third of the ball, maybe. And for that ball not to go in was crazy. I thought it would have been a really good playoff with Wyndham Clark and Scottie because
that would have been it would have been great. I mean, they finished 1-2 last week too, so right. This is a very. I mean, what do you think John Rahm's thinking right now? Because it was Scottie and John for a while, and you think
I don't think he cares.
You don't think he's missing that competition? You don't think he's missing that?
I don't think so.
Adrenaline pumping?
I don't think so. I think he's probably happy to be out of there. He feels like he's free of the grasp of the PGA Tour and all of the rules, and Liv's kind of come out to be the league of no rules type thing, and it's just kind of happy-go-lucky with them. But back to the playoff thing, I think Wyndham Clark and Scottie, TPC Sawgrass would be one of the most exciting playoff destinations if you had to play a playoff hole in that stretch, because if you think about it, more often than not, they're going to go to 18 for the playoff.
Right.
If you don't decide it there, they're going to go back to 17
and
play
awesome.
17, which would be wild.
Oh my gosh, imagine a hole-in-one to win it.
Dude, my gosh.
Which there was a hole-in-one this weekend.
Yep.
Well, we said, I asked you, Tyler, you said, no way there's a hole-in-one. There was one on the first day.
I'm never doubting.
Good old Ryan Fox.
Yeah, he went first player to ever go eagle hole-in-one from 16 to 17. So that was pretty neat. Yeah. He was going to be my dog of the week which I don't want to give it away, but I think you can guess who it is.
I think we all know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
So interesting thing about TPC Sawgrass, seeing it in person is so much different than seeing it on TV. I mean, it's miles different.
You were supposed to play it, right? But it got rained out.
Yeah.
That's a rough break.
Yeah, you don't bring it up.
But you got to play PGA National instead, didn't you?
Sure. I mean, it's not bad, but something in the back of my mind. I was like, man, I just want to play it. So I'll get my chance in the next few years. I'll figure it out.
Hopefully, I'll be next to you.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But you don't realize how much terrain is actually out there. It looks flat as can be, but it's really not.
Florida.
Think of on 16, huge par 5 there. Yeah,
Tyler.
You got to watch out for them gators.
Yeah, you do. You got to be careful out there.
But 16, long par 5 there. You got to make the corner. You see guys try to cut the corner all the time. Justin Thomas was famous for that, hitting that big slinger. And but the biggest thing is if you don't make the corner, you're blocked out. You have no shot to make the green. Now Rory hit one of the best shots of the week there. I will say, he tried to carry it, caught the top of the trees, fell in the pine straw there on the left side. Hit some
questionable
big
drops by Rory this weekend.
There
questionable
was.
Drops.
Yeah,
especially on day 1 and day 2.
Yeah,
it was an awkward, like just watching the group with him, Spieth, and Hovland. I felt
20
awkward.
minutes though.
Yeah, that was. They were discussing the drop, and Spieth was like, "Well, I mean, these guys said that they didn't cross the out of bounds line, or blah blah blah." And Hovland's like, "I don't know, man. I think you went out farther back there." And Rory was like, "It's cool, guys. I'm gonna drop here."
I find it really funny too because it felt like a lot of the like angst and like division with the U.S. and Europe Ryder Cup type thing there.
Yeah,
like it was just
like in the middle.
Guys are and it's like the funny like I like Jordan and everything, but like the funny part is he was the one kind of pushing the narrative, and I'm thinking, like, Jordan, do we have to revisit like a month ago when you illegally signed a scorecard in California?
Yeah.
Like,
well, hey,
and here we are throwing the book.
He had to get out of there. All right.
Like,
can't blame Jordan for that one.
Right. But like I felt it's one of those situations where like that particular rule, somebody asked me about that, and I was like, that particular rule, like if you can't see it and you have the reasonable thought that it went out here, then okay. Like it is what it is. Everybody comes to an agreement there. Like I saw 10 guys standing around looking at a golf ball.
Yeah,
I'm like, folks,
they're
let's
looking
go.
at the red paint in the grass to figure out where it crossed.
And I said to myself, I was like, does it really matter if Rory was here or 30 yards back? Like, what is like at the end of the day, is it really going to matter?
He's probably hitting the same club because he laid up anyway.
Right. So
you mentioned the shot from JT kind of wiping it around the corner. Did you see the setup he took? I mean, he's aimed straight at the gallery. Like, if I attempt that, they're gonna have handcuffs on the tee box, and they're just taking me to jail. Straight to jail.
I think the best moment of the week, as far as close to crowd interaction, is Max Homa.
Oh my God.
Absolutely, just buzzing somebody.
So Homa is he's in the gallery pretty much, right? He kind of pushed it right, and I don't even know. So Fletch, I didn't see it happen in real time. I saw the videos on Twitter. Did he shank it on this shot? Because he's not aimed at the green. He's aimed straight ahead where the tree is. And I guess he kind of shanks this ball, and the dude is videoing, and you see the golf ball literally fly past his phone, and it hits the tree behind him. Like, I'm talking.
Ricky Fowler also had an interaction with a fan too.
Ricky wasn't happy about that. Yeah, took a picture with the
sound on.
Yeah, he wasn't too pleased with that. But I mean, Max Homa was inches away from killing this guy, like millimeters away from killing this guy.
Yeah.
Did he shank it at him, or what happened?
I don't think so. Like,
was he trying to hit it off the tree?
From what I saw is Max tried to play a draw into that specific hole location because you're blocked out by a bunker short left. So he tried to just hit a big draw, like high draw. And it just came out mega low. And I get that. Like when you're in the pine straw, like you just don't know what's going to happen with the ball, just depending on that little bit of time that you come through. And if you don't catch ball first in that situation, that ball's going to move or jump. And you really just don't know. Like that's why it's so dangerous when guys are in pine straw. That's why they get the gallery to back up so far.
Yeah, I don't understand why the gallery was in front of him.
I was really surprised the gallery being that close. I was standing there. I'm like, okay, if that's him, the green's got to be way far left. And it wasn't. I was just like, okay, they just didn't move anybody. And I don't even know if the gallery thought that Max was going to take a full swing at it being underneath that tree. Yeah,
no, that was a little too close for comfort. I would have had a Jordan Spieth moment if I was that guy holding that camera phone. I can tell you that.
That was questionable.
That was But in the end, Scottie holds on to take the first ever back-to-back, and confirmed him and Meredith are expecting their first child. I thought I heard him say it last week. Like at the very end, they said, "Oh, and there's the happy soon-to-be parents," and then they just like cut to something else. And I was like,
"You didn't know she was pregnant?"
I had no idea.
Come on.
I completely missed that. I looked on Instagram, nothing. It's like, wait, what?
I had to laugh. I had to laugh too because I guess Scottie did something for press and some sort of short thing for PGA Tour media,
Mhm.
like before the start of the week, and like had some thing where they like made his grandmother's like famous pie or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And you just see Meredith tearing it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I said she's probably just starving, just eating that thing. She was like,
Yeah.
this thing's so good. I was just like, she's like,
It's
can
a
we take this
pregnancy
whole thing
appetite.
home? That was hilarious.
So, coming up this weekend, the Valspar Championship, which is at Copperfield in Florida, Copperhead.
Yep.
What,
Copperhead.
The only thing
Copperhead
I
in
know that
Florida.
is because the PGA
Yeah,
2K23.
the PGA.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's all the only way I know.
Toughest 3-hole stretch I think in golf there. Just my thing. Pretty fun
So,
tournament.
the following week it's going to be in Houston, and it's Easter weekend, so I'm probably not going to make it. But I might try to make the Easter Sunday around because I've got to go to Houston that Sunday. So maybe I'll see if I can snag a ticket from somebody, catch the following or the last day's coverage. I don't know. We'll see if I can get it figured out.
Is that the last week before the Masters?
No, it goes
Yeah.
Houston, San Antonio, and then Augusta. Which San Antonio is, I mean, I might make it to that one. We'll see.
But Houston's not a signature event. I think
No, it's not.
I
Neither
think
is San Antonio.
Really? The Valero's not?
I don't believe the Valero is. They're not going to do a signature event the week before the Masters.
Well, yeah, true.
You'll have probably mainly like the big golfers sit out that week. Probably.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
I think those 2 weeks you'll probably see like Houston and San Antonio. You probably won't
Well,
see
so
many guys.
I've got the expected to play field for the Valspar coming up, and headliners of Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon, Keegan Bradley, Jordan Spieth, Sam Burns, Cam Young, JT, Finau, Tom Kim, and Gary Woodland, Joel Damon. So still some big names. I would have to say off the play that I just watched, Xander's got to be the favorite. I don't have the odds. Sam Burns tore up the course on Sunday. So quick pick for Valspar Championship. Give me Sam Burns top 10. I think that's a safe bet. I'm going Sam Burns top 10. I know y'all don't have the field in front of you.
Yeah,
but
I'm not picking nothing until the Masters.
Okay, we'll save it for the Masters then. Jacob, you got a quick little pick for Valspar?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sahith Theegala. I think he's
Oh,
probably a top 10 for me.
okay.
He's just so consistent. I mean, had a tough start to the week, shooting 70, but 2 67s in there and a 71 to finish out the week. 13
Fellow
under,
Ping brethren.
tied 9th. So he's just so consistent, so smooth.
Yes.
So he's definitely a really good pick. You brought up one guy, Tony Finau. Like, I'm really disappointed with how the season's gone for him so far. I know we're still really early in the year, but it just like the expectations were really high for Tony Finau, for this season, and I felt like he squandered a lot of opportunity. Felt like he had some chances to repeat in Mexico, just didn't play well. There's just a lot of missed opportunities for him, and I felt like this was his year to come into his own, and it's just hasn't taken really full advantage of the chances that he's gotten.
Well, the season's still young, so let's see if he's able to turn it around. Last little bit of golf news. There's meetings today in Bahamas between PGA Tour officials and Yasir Yasir. We're going to call him Yasir, who is the leader of the PIF. Apparently, Tiger Woods and Yasir played a little round of golf down there in Nassau to discuss the future of pro golf. So biggest meeting to discuss the future of pro golf happens on a golf course. So if you don't play golf and you're in business or any sort of field, engineering or journalism for Tyler or a Home Depot for Jacob, which he plays golf, business happens on the golf course. First thing I learned day one of college, my professor got up and said, if you don't know how to play golf, learn how to play golf because you're going to get jobs on the golf course. You're going to make business deals on the golf course. You're going to make connections on the golf course. So a little PSA to anybody watching or listening that may not be a golfer. pick up the sticks and learn how to play, because that's just the way of the game. The millionaires and the billionaires play it. So not saying you're going to be a billionaire if you play the game of golf. You're probably going to hate your life, and you're going to hate every time you step on the golf course. But it's an enjoyable sport.
You go into mass amounts of debt. But,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So we'll recap Valspar next week, but a couple weeks Masters, we're going to do a special show for that. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. A little early, but let's get dog of the week, because it plays to the golf for me. Dog of the week, everyone's favorite segment. I mentioned it. First ever back-to-back Players Championship winner deserves the first ever back-to-back Dog of the Week award. Obviously, Scottie Scheffler coming from 5 down on Sunday to just boat race the field, take the win. Looking at his last 2 final rounds in Bay Hill, he shot a bogey-free 66. And at TBC Sawgrass, he shot a bogey-free 64. That puts him at 27 straight rounds under par, which is just an absolute absurd number. The man is, I mean, he's shot a couple bogeys, but he's matched them with birdies and eagles. And that hole out that he had on the 4th hole on Sunday, that was insane. So Scottie Scheffler is my dog of the week. Tyler, what you got for it?
Yeah, it's a pretty good pick for dog of the week. There's a variety of picks, but you know what month it is. You know where I'm going for this. I'm going to go college hoops. Going to go with a team. Go with the Wolfpack of NC State. Did the unthinkable, winning 5 games in 5 days, and they just beat really nobodies. They beat the top 3 seeds in this ACC tournament to, Duke, Virginia, and then also North Carolina too. So give me the Wolfpack. And then they have to face off against 6 seed Texas Tech. So very favorable draw for them. So give me the Wolfpack
I like it.
Getting the ACC championship.
I heard y'all mention it on yesterday's video with the bracket picks. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you go watch Tyler and Jacob, 1v1 bracket. They broke down all the picks, which we'll be doing a quick pick bracket ourselves. But if you want some in-depth looks at each team, go check out a video over on our YouTube page.
And SEC Talk as well.
Yes, SEC Talk. You and Wade had your bracket pick that you do every year. So find that on Facebook, on SEC Talk's Facebook page. Butch, what you got for dog of the week?
Let's keep it over in the basketball world. Of course, it's March, and I've got the team that literally encompasses all of March when it comes to college basketball now. Throw it over to the Mid-American. We're going with the St. Peter's Peacocks, getting the win over the 1 seed, beating the 1 seed Quinnipiac in the semifinal game, and then beating Fairfield, who was a team that was on the bubble for March Madness, and St. Peter's went in and beat them by 5. So they've got a tough matchup coming against Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a rough
They
one.
On Thursday.
played the SEC before, though.
Yep. So I think they could do it. Spicy pick, but I'm probably going to put some money on St. Peter's because I can go against them. I mean, it is March.
We got one from Matty Ice. Who got that dog in him? You want to know who got that dog in him? Paul Skeens killing it in the spring games. Jackson Holiday said that he felt like that ball was coming in at 110 miles an hour. Yeah, I watched the video of their at bat, and my goodness.
I feel like a shotgun went off, and every time that the ball hits the glove.
Yeah, he's pumping 102 down the middle. I don't know where the first 2 pitches were called balls. I don't know what were wrong with them. I think the umpire just didn't see them.
He blinked.
I honestly think he blinked, and he thought the catcher must have missed it. But he goes like 102 with the fastball. Then he hits him with a slider at like 98, and then a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. That's a 12-mile-an-hour difference in speed.
I'll give it a couple of months until he's out there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I, that's a hot take. Like, I feel like it's probably this year that he gets the call up to
I agree.
Yeah, Pittsburgh is right in there in the chase in the NL Central. They're going to be like, "Hey, Ball Skeens, get your butt up here to Pittsburgh. We're going to get to the postseason."
Think about it. He's like he's got that progression, and I think he's going to have the same progression as like Ellie De La Cruz, like with the Red, same division. That division's young, and that's going to be pretty good to watch next year.
And I don't think it's a knock on him that they're starting him in because they're starting him in AAA, right?
I think in AA he started.
No, he started the season in Florida playing.
Yeah.
FCL. I mean, he was playing like Florida Coast League.
No, I'm saying this
this
season after
season.
spring training. Is he starting in
Well,
AAA or?
gotta
is
be
he
I mean,
starting
doing
in
we
AA.
don't. I mean, we don't know the answer to that. He's probably going to go AA.
Yeah,
I mean, if
think he
you were seeing
pitches a
playing in the
couple
Florida
games.
leagues, there's no way that he just bumps up to the AAA.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's more of a. Let's get your arm conditioned. Let's make sure we take all the. I mean, you're the future, right? You're number one pick. We're not going to just throw you into the bigs. We're going to get your confidence up there, get you some reps in, and then we're going to bring you up when we need you. I'd like to give him another shout out to a little league pal of mine, Mr. Garrett Crochet. Announced he's getting the opening day start for the Chicago White Sox. That's kind of
There we
cool to
go.
see because he was on my little league team, never played baseball before, and my dad taught him how to pitch in little league. So kind of cool to see that progression
Yeah.
go
Tell me
up.
one ticket. Tell me one tickets to the season opener.
Yeah. Haven't talked to him since he went to Tennessee, so don't even know if he remembers me. But I saw that on Twitter today, and I was like, that's pretty neat. Guy, you grow up playing little league baseball with. He's now pitching opening day in the bigs, so that's a pretty cool story. But we talked to March Madness. We're gonna get into the March Madness here in a second. But we got a question from Neil Tyler. Why is the playing games not for the 16 seed if they're playing just to get into the tournament?
Well, they do have two 16 seed play-in games. The two 16 seeds, Jacob, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it's Howard and Wagner, Montana State, and Grambling. So I don't know how it works, but what I like about college basketball outside of college baseball does this as well too. Is like the mid majors actually have an opportunity to get to the postseason. That what really separates March Madness from honestly even the professional sports leagues. Like I think that the best postseason tournament is March Madness, and it's not really even close because like like a 16 seed can beat a 1 seed. You're not really going to see you saw last year in the NBA with the Heat. They were the 8 seed. They knocked down the Bucks. But who really
we're
cares
talking
about
professional sports athletes, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that conference tournament. So we saw in the A10 a team like Duquesne that nobody was really talking about. Yeah, there we go. We'll be talking about them in a little bit. But yeah, that's a team that's really hot. They won 8 straight. Yeah, I think that anything can be done. We almost saw a team like Brown, who was 14-17, a sub 500 team, almost make the field. So that's really what makes this field. But honestly, to answer your question, I have no idea why they do that.
Yeah,
but I love it.
It makes sense to do the 16 seed. I don't understand the 10 seed. If somebody does know, let us know why they do it. But Tyler, you got the bracket. Want to go ahead and get that pulled up, and we'll go through our bracket picks.
Yeah, let me go ahead and change some settings here.
Okay, let's see.
Right.
But we're each going to take a region. Since Wade's not able to join, Jacob's going to take his. And we're going to lock this one in over on ESPN.
Yep.
I'll have it in the description, the invite to join our bracket or join our league or for our bracket challenge so the fans and the listeners can get in on the action. And we'll have our brackets up there. I filled mine out this morning, so just kind of a feel thing, right? Just like you got to do a couple. So see how they go. But Tyler, start us off.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, like Chet mentioned, we're gonna be knocking out the first round first. We'll do region by region. We'll go through the East, South, Midwest, and then the West. So we're kind of be going in a little bit of circle here. So Jacob will be taking the East and the Midwest. Chet will be taking the South, and I'll be taking the lovely West. So Jacob, why don't you take us through the first round of the East here? How do you see the East first round playing out?
Yeah, for the East, you got some big dogs, and then you got some teams that not a lot of people have heard of. So you got a pretty stacked, heavy top side of the East. But rolling through it, let's go UConn and Stetson. First round matchup. I'm going with the Huskies. I don't think it's even close. Yeah, just don't even really have to talk about that one. UConn, I think's definitely ready for a repeat. So they got to get started fast, and I think they'll beat Stetson pretty easily. FAU and Northwestern, tough game. Really, this is a really tough game to pick. I'm going to give the nod to FAU only because of their past. I think the Owls get it done. Be a fun 1-8 matchup there against UConn. dropping down to San Diego State and UAB. UAB, one of the hottest teams, I think, right now out of you can't really call it the group of five, but the mid-majors. So I really think that UAB is probably the one team in here. I think that the high seed can really win a game. I'm going with the Blazers to move on. So UAB
Really?
beats San Diego
Well,
State.
upset pick here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you got to have one. I think in every
Yeah.
region. So I think this is the one that's going to happen in this region. I think Auburn takes care of Yale. Yale's just not the same kind of basketball, and it's definitely Auburn's to lose if that's the case there. BYU, the Cougars, and Duquesne. I think this game here could be very interesting. Duquesne is a really, really hard-nosed team. I think they'll give BYU a run for their money, but I think Desqueen loses in the first round. I don't see them making it there. So I'm going with BYU. Really good team for their first year in the Big 12. Yeah.
Poor Frenchman.
Yeah. And Illinois and Morehead State. Illinois looks touchy with their Big Ten championship
Great
win.
Morehead State. Just a
So,
note.
yeah, Morehead State is real. I mean, they're tough, and it's going to be a challenge for Illinois. I think Illinois does take business though, and they take care of it. So the
They
Fighting
stand on that
Illini move
business.
on. Yeah, and here's another one. I've got Wazoo going down to Drake. So I'm going to take the 10 seed, and Drake's going to get it done. 10-7s are literally the hardest games to pick out of all. They're harder than 8-9. So yeah, I think Drake's gonna make it to the round of 32. Iowa State takes care of South Dakota State. Iowa State, I think, is the sneakiest 2 seed that should be a 1 seed. I think they lucked out being a 2 seed in the tournament. To be honest, they kind of avoided the chaos at the top of the bracket.
So, Chet, what do you think about Jacob's picks so far? What do you have any changes?
I like the upsets, the chaos creation.
Yes.
Now we're going.
Well, oh my God. Well, hey, Chaos Creator, why don't you take it away with the South? How do you see the South shaping up in the first round? I feel like we're about to get like upset on upsets.
So you're not going to get one here. I'm picking the Cougs.
no Longwood.
Longwood. I know we play golf at Longwood in Houston, so it's a little bit of a mix here. But I'm going with the Cougs. This one I'm torn. Texas A&M or Nebraska, right? Texas A&M had a pretty good SEC tournament. But I'm seeing these highlights from Nebraska's. I think he's their point guard.
Watching some tape.
I'm gonna butcher his name. Keisei Tominaga.
Hey, you got it right. Actually, that's how you say
being
it.
quoted as the Japanese Steph Curry. This man is electric, and I think there's always one player that sets the world on fire during March. And I think Keisei is going to be the guy. So I'm taking
baby.
The second spawn of Jeremy Lin.
Yes, I'm taking Nebraska.
He might be like the Steph Curry of this tournament. Who knows?
I'm taking Nebraska. This one, the upset picks coming. Give me the Dukes over Wisconsin.
I love it.
This is just like football, baby. They're coming in and they're ready to rock and roll.
A dynasty team.
I'm going with Duke over Vermont. It's Duke. You don't pick against Duke in March.
Yeah.
Let's see. Texas Tech or NC State. NC State's 5 for 5. Let's make it 6 for 6 and give me Texas Tech.
Let's go.
I mean NC State, not to take the upset over Texas Tech. There we go.
Yep.
Didn't know Oakland had a college, so I'm going with Kentucky.
All right.
And then let's see. I don't like picking an upset when it's a playing game because you don't really know who it's going to be, right?
Yeah, it's tricky.
Florida made it to the SEC championship. I was not impressed with their outing, but with it being a playing game, I'm going to go with Florida to take down the combination of Boise State or Colorado. And I'm going Marquette over the weirdo Hilltoppers, whatever their mascot is.
Big Red.
Yeah.
So Jacob, looking at the South, what's a double-digit seed that you're eyeing that could really make it a Sweet 16 run?
A sweet 16 run in the South. Sorry, that's a tongue twister right there.
I know.
For me, I just feel like NC State's going to run out of gas. Like I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think they could get a round one win there, but if they do have to face,
Facing Kentucky,
if they win, they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
face
tough.
Kentucky. But I don't see how they're going to be able to withstand that. I would be very impressed if they do.
I mean, to go 7-7, that would be
insane. I
a
mean,
long
so
win streak.
they would have to win double-digit games to get all the way to
Yeah,
that
they would have to
point.
win what, like 13?
Yeah, so I mean that's really tough. Of the double-digit seeds, I think James Madison could. I really think that if they really take care of Wisconsin, Duke has been vulnerable all year. I mean, you got some high flyers for James Madison. They're a big physical team. Duke doesn't like physicality on the other end, so
scared of it.
it could be very interesting. I would pick James Madison as the double-digit seed that would make it to the Sweet 16 out of that region.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Duke is very vulnerable. And if there's like another, like a Stork Corman, who knows? Kyle Filipowski,
Yeah.
steal again. Who knows? But Jacob, let's go on now to the Midwest, and this is we're going to go to a team. I don't know if you're going to be buying on this team or not, but take us through the Midwest of the first round.
Yeah, Midwest, Purdue against the winner of Montana State and Grambling. Here's the fun one. I've got Purdue going down for the second year in a row
Ain't no way.
in the round of 64. I think that Grambling probably beats the socks off of Montana
Is this
State.
really happening right now?
And I'm going to take Grambling as a play-in team to beat Purdue.
I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
You do realize who Grambling's coach is?
Yes.
The worst coach in like LSU basketball history.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
So one seed
Well-
has to lose. A one seed has to lose. On the other side, every other region, the one seed is going to win. There's no chance.
Jacob, did we
everywhere
tell
else.
you what the Purdue fans said about you?
Wait,
let
the
me
Purdue
pull
fan
the-
said about me?
Yeah,
Please
so-
sell them.
We got some comments on one of our bracketology or one of our bracket videos. Purdue fan was not happy with you.
Yeah.
He says, yes, I'm a biased Purdue fan, but to say they haven't played anyone good outside of the Big Ten Conference is outrageous. They beat Tennessee, Marquette, Arizona, Gonzaga, and Illinois twice. I have no clue what you're talking about, white hat guy. But you were wearing a white hat that night. And you're just mad that Penn State sucks. And you want to crap on the Big Ten, or what a horrible take. I'd respect if you said something like they beat good teams early in the season and have no momentum. But to now to say they haven't beat any good team is outrageous. So that's from Stewick7059. Not a fan of the white hat guy and his
Oh
take.
my
Hey,
gosh.
Look,
I
here's
can't believe.
and I'll back my statement up by saying I don't think Purdue can go deep because they've
But
beaten
losing the first round again, like,
Yeah, my
That's
thing
wild.
is they're the most vulnerable
hey,
one
you know
seed.
what?
They
I'll
are.
be you. Hey, we gave you this region for a reason. You know what? If we live and die by it, it's on you.
They're the most vulnerable one seed of all of the one seeds, in my opinion. I mean,
I
with
agree.
the matchups that are there, that's what it.
They
that's
do
what
rely
it is.
too heavily on Zach Edey, and if he fouls out, they're done.
Right. I mean, they are a one-dimensional team. There is no statement that could argue the fact that they are a one-dimensional team. If Edey does not put up at least 25 to 30 points in that game, they will not win.
I agree with you.
That's just my opinion on it. I know he's a big dude. He's the second coming of Yao Ming, but like I just don't see them making it very far, and I just don't trust them out of the one seeds that are there. I was of the opinion that Iowa State gets the one seed. One of the one seeds. Like I probably would have kicked North Carolina out of the one seeds, but that's for another day. But I don't think Purdue was just so hyped up. And last year they were the number one team all year long, and then you lose in the first round. It's the second coming of Virginia. It's here it comes, like it's rolling in. But yeah, I don't trust them. That's just my thing. And there's got to be some sort of chaos.
So
Well, keep it
this is
going.
either going to be the bracket saver or the bracket buster here. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it
I'm leaning
goes.
more on the bracket buster, but you know what? It's March Madness
I
for a
like
reason. So,
the,
hey, we'll see it.
I
We'll
like
see it. You know what? We love it. I've seen
Hey,
too
a
many
1 seed
chalky
has to
people.
lose.
I've seen too many chalk brackets. So you know what? Screw it. Let's continue on with the
it
Midwest.
might as well be Purdue just to spite
Hey, we're called the
Stevie
Sports Scramble
0706.
for a reason. Just keep it going, Jacob. Let's continue it on and give us more upsets.
Utah State and TCU, no upset here. Not with an 8-9. I'm going to go with Utah State. I think they're the better team. TCU looked shaky for the last half of the season. Really just wasn't putting wins together. Gonzaga and McNeese. I've gone back and forth on this game, but if I'm going to pick a 16 seed there, I'm going to take the Zags in the first round. I can't have a 12
Jacob,
and a 16.
no.
That's okay. We have it on our personal bracket chat.
I can't have a 12 and a 16 making it there, and I just don't see too many 12 seeds moving on. Kansas and Samford. I'm going to take Kansas. Give me the Jayhawks. Really good matchup there for a round of 32 with the Zags and the Jayhawks. This game here is interesting. Oregon always finds their way into this somehow, some way from the Pac-12. I don't know if that'll be the case anymore moving forward, but I'm going South Carolina. I'll take the Gamecocks, probably the second hottest team in the SEC outside of Auburn. Then moving on from them, Creighton and Akron. Akron had a great showing at the end of the season, winning their conference championship. But I won't take the Zips. I'm taking the Creighton Blue Jays. You guys know I have been.
You're a big Creighton guy.
You are a big Blue Jay guy.
So moving to the 7-10, I don't believe in Virginia. I would believe in Colorado State winning that game over Virginia. Texas, I think, gets one win here.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I think that they'll probably win that. So I just don't see them doing it. And yeah, okay, I get it. St. Peter's in Tennessee. I picked St. Peter's as my dog of the week. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think this is a battle of welcome back our former head coach, and it's going to be a tough game. I think it would be a fantastic game for a first-round game. You'll get a lot of people tuned into Tennessee and St. Peter's, even though it's a 2:15.
Primetime game, too, 8:20 p.m.
Yep. Chet, give us your thoughts on this wacky, how this went down.
Obviously, the Purdue losing in round one is a little insane. I don't agree with the Gonzaga over McNeese pick. I think McNeese is hot. Will Wade is the best in the business. Besides that, I think I agree with the rest of it, though.
Well, hey, you know what? We got a first seed, so I think it relieves some pressure from us, Chet. We can actually maybe put a 1 seed to go far since we already have one knocked out. So, all right, let's go on to the West where we have the number 1 overall seed from the ACC, North Carolina. They play the winner of Howard and Wagner. I'll go with Howard to win that game, but they're not going to beat North Carolina. North Carolina, too much experience. Armando Bacot leading the way. And then R.J. Davis. There's a lot of experience. They got a lot of scores, too. 8 seed Mississippi State, 9 seed Michigan State. You never bet against Tom Izzo, but I am. Go with the Dogs. Mississippi State, their
MSU's
defense.
winning either way.
Yeah, MSU's winning no way. So I'm going to go with Mississippi State. Really talented bunch. They definitely impressed me in their little run in the SEC tournament. I mean, Tennessee game wasn't even close. And this defense, it's going to travel. Michigan State, honestly, they shouldn't even be in this field. I think that name alone got them into this tournament. I mean, they had 14 losses in a bad Big Ten. So I think that Mississippi State wins this one. This is the first game of the tournament, so this is a heck of a way to send us off here. 5 and a 12 seed St. Mary's and 12 seed Grand Canyon. A couple of weeks ago, we got a little history lesson about Grand Canyon.
Yep.
I feel like for Sports Scramble purposes, I had to pick Grand Canyon, right?
I like it, Tyler. There we go. There's an upset.
Not so fast, my friend. St. Mary's, the Gales advance on. St. Mary's was a team that blew through the West Coast Conference. You see Gonzaga over there? Yeah, it wasn't even close. This was St. Mary's conference to lose. So I'm going to go with St. Mary's. I do think that Grand Canyon, though, is a sneaky 12, but I think that St. Mary's barely gets by. 4 and a 13, we have Alabama, the Crimson Tide, one of the most inconsistent teams that you can really have in this field. They have an elite offense. They really can't guard anybody. Charleston, as a team that can really get after it. Not going to go for an upset here. I think that Alabama's talent alone gets them through there. Go with Mark Sears to go on. So I know it's a little bit chalky, but just you wait. I have a little upset brewing here. Clemson and New Mexico. This ain't the gridiron anymore, Clemson. This is New Mexico's time to shine. New Mexico, this is a team that I think that can really go on a deep run. They definitely have the elite guard play. Coming off of, I think, the Mountain West, if you're really looking at Mountain West, really got snubbed a couple of bids. I think that New Mexico is a team that could definitely catch fire in March. And then 3-seed Baylor versus 14-seed Fighting Toothpaste of Colgate. I don't like Colgate as a toothpaste. Don't really like them as a basketball team either. I know that this is a team that could definitely – oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to go with Baylor to move on here. 7 and the 10, I don't really buy in too much on Dayton. I think that this is an easier pick. I think that Dayton has definitely been a team that's on the downward spiral. I think buy heavily in Mountain West. Mountain West is a very good conference. So I'm going to go with Nevada. This is a team that has a lot of experience, and their defense gets after you as well. 2-seed Arizona, 15-seed Long Beach State. Chet, you're quite familiar picking a 15 over 2. You did it last year at Princeton over Arizona, but I think that Arizona gets by on this. So both of you, what would you change, if any, on this west side of the bracket?
Your St. Mary's game.
Yeah, well.
I'd be going with Grand Canyon.
The Loops.
That'd be my pick. But besides that, I agree with you on these.
Jacob, how about yourself?
I don't disagree with any of those.
Okay, well.
We got a consistency.
All right, we have our round of 32 matchups set up. We'll go back to one or two of Jacob's regions, go to the East. Take us through round of 32. Who books their ticket to the Sweet 16?
Well, the Sweet 16, I think it's UConn here. Close game with the FAU. I'm taking the Huskies to move on to the Sweet 16. Other matchup here, little home turf battle between UAB and Auburn. Kind of sucks that they're playing this game. Golly, I don't even know where they're playing this game, but it is nowhere near Alabama.
Spokane.
Yeah, that's a long ways away. But both of these teams, I think, are really good. I think Auburn's probably the better team here. I'll take the Tigers to move on. BYU, Illinois. This is where BYU kind of turns up the heat a little bit. I'm taking the Cougars over the Fighting Illini in that one. And then we're going to have an all Big 12 matchup in the Sweet 16. I'm taking the Cyclones of Iowa State.
Chet, anything you would change there, or are you liking Jacob's picks?
I'm digging them.
Yeah, I'm digging them too. So, Chet, why don't you take it away of who gets us to the Sweet 16 in the South?
So I'm sorry, Nebraska, but your timing's here. Give me the Cougs. Yeah, they had a pretty rough end of the Big Ten tournament, but bounce back. I mean, they're the number one team in the country for a reason, and I have them making a pretty deep run. I actually have them winning my bracket that I made personally. So James Madison and Duke. Oh, man,
I feel it's coming.
The Dukes versus Duke.
Give me the Dukes to take down Duke. 2 Dukes are better than 1. Give me James Madison.
There you
go. Let's see. NC State and Kentucky. I think the magic ends here when they run into Kentucky. That they could shoot anybody out of the building. Give me Kentucky over NC State. Florida Marquette. This one is tough. Marquette's prone to foul trouble. So if their starters get into trouble early and you see them sitting some meaningful minutes, I think Florida can steal this one away from them. We'll get an all SEC matchup here with Florida and Kentucky.
Jacob, what do you think of that all SEC battle there?
I think it would be really one-sided in my opinion. I just don't see Florida probably getting farther than the Sweet 16. But yeah, I mean, it could happen. Marquette has had definitely some injury troubles, have not been healthy, and definitely are vulnerable right now with the current active roster. They need to get healthy before they really run through this. They could probably take care of Western Kentucky, but I would be worried if they do have to face off against Florida if they do not have full strength.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Let's go down to the Midwest. Do you have the 16 seeds run continuing on, or do you have it ending?
You know what? I've got it ending. I think Utah State
Oh,
is a really good 8 seed, underrated 8 seed out there. You did say the Mountain West was really strong, and
Yep.
I feel like this is a time where Utah State can really step up and make it as an 8 seed. Other side of things, let's keep it out west. I'm taking the Zags over Kansas. Kansas just has not played well against ranked teams this year, and not looked consistent. They're just giving some games away, and I think that this presents a different opportunity for Gonzaga to really make it there. They're a March team also, so yeah, I'll take the Zags to move on and face off against Utah State. Here in South Carolina, Creighton. South Carolina is playing good basketball. Creighton in the Big East is too much for them. I'm taking the Blue Jays to move on to the Sweet 16. And Tennessee and Texas. Texas, I watched them play Baylor recently. Did not look good. If they get into foul trouble, they are in trouble. And Tennessee will drive the basket. They're a hard physical team. So I'm going to take the Vols to move on and have a little 2-3 matchup.
Jed, you liking those picks from the Midwest?
I'm with them. No argument here.
All right, so let's go on to the West here. Another 1-8 matchup: North Carolina, Mississippi State. I think that Mississippi State, you had a great run, but I think it ends here too much from North Carolina. I think that would be a great game, though. Mississippi State's defense would get after them, but North Carolina would pull away, especially the game being in Charlotte. That would definitely be a home court advantage to North Carolina. Alabama's run ends here in the Gales. I think that Alabama, like I mentioned, too inconsistent. I don't want to have them going too far. I had them going far all the way to the national championship game. They lost in the Sweet 16 last year, and that was their best team in quite some time. So I don't see them making it
shooters
far.
on the court.
Oh, that is true. All right, 11 and a 3 seed. I've noticed in our bracket we don't have an 11. We do now. New Mexico takes down the Baylor Bears.
Wow.
Baylor is not the team that you think that they are. They're one of the more inconsistent teams in the Big 12. They can either – honestly, I would not be shocked if Colgate pulls off the upset in round number 1. I think that Baylor is definitely – if you're looking at the 3 seeds, they're definitely one of the more vulnerable 3 seeds out there. I am going to go with New Mexico to make some noise there. I think that if they get by Clemson, their path is definitely set up for them. And then 10-seed Nevada, 2-seed Arizona would be a great game out west. But I think that Caleb Love has some unfinished business in Arizona. It's one of those teams. I think that we're talking about, Purdue not really getting over the hump. Arizona also has that problem. They haven't been able to get over the hump, and I think that make it to the Sweet 16. So, boys, what do you think about that?
I like the 11 over Baylor, New Mexico over Baylor. That brings some
wild.
parity to it here.
That's wild.
All right, Sweet 16. Here we go.
All right, Sweet 16. Jacob, take us back to the East. Who do you have booking your ticket to the Elite Eight?
I'm going UConn. I think UConn's too big for Auburn size-wise. Auburn's a small team, shooters. And they've always been that way. They've never really had a big physical team. If they don't shoot well, then they're in trouble. And, I think they're just a huge team. And, UConn has 5 fresh starters on the bench. So they definitely have the most depth, I think, of all 68 teams in this tournament. So I'm taking the Huskies there. I think this is where things get interesting. I'm taking BYU.
Ooh.
I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going with the Cougs to beat Iowa State. That's a tough matchup for a Big 12 matchup there. That is going to turn into some rivalry one day soon now that BYU is a part of the Big 12. So, yeah, Big East, Big 12 matchup there for the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I definitely like that too. We have a 1-6 with UConn and BYU. Chet, let's go on to the South. Do you have James Madison and their Cinderella story continue on, or are you going to go with your hometown boys?
I'm sorry, but every Cinderella story hits a midnight.
The clock is striking midnight.
I'm taking Houston to advance on here over James Madison. Fun run, but Houston takes it away. And they're blue blood for a reason. Kentucky over Florida.
There we go. So all SEC. So we get an SEC team. We already have 2 Big 12 teams. Then we have a Big East team. So 2 1 seeds survive. And then we have a 6 and a 3. Love it, boys. Not too much chalky. So I don't think we're going to get any chalk on this region. 16, the 16's gone, the 1 seed's gone, the 4 seed's gone, and the 3 and the 2 are alive, and the 8 and 5. How do you see the Midwest shaping out in the Sweet 16, Jacob?
I've got the Zags making it to another Elite Eight. I'm going to take them. I think that they have the best path for a team that's currently in the middle of the road of that region. They have the easiest path to get there. I think so. I'm going to take the Zags. I'll roll the dice on them, and I've gone against them in the past, but I think I can drink the Kool-Aid a little bit, so to speak, on the Zags. But Creighton and Tennessee, fantastic matchup. Both teams shoot the lights out. So that would be a really fun game to watch. I think it could happen. I'm going Creighton. So I don't know. We have one SEC team in, and I think it's hard to believe that 2 SEC teams will make it to the Elite Eight. Big East is so strong. Creighton looks good, and they look primed for a run. So hopefully they can break the curse of March and make it to the Elite Eight.
And there we go. We have a second Big East team, and then we have our first of West Coast teams with a 5 seed Gonzaga, 3 seed Creighton. All right, we have 2 more spots left to fill out here in the Elite Eight as we go on to the West. North Carolina and St. Mary's. This is definitely a tough matchup. But I think St. Mary's defense, their offense, this is a team that's definitely more one-dimensional. I think North Carolina, that's honestly a good thing that they lost in the conference championship against NC State. This team is definitely going to be motivated. I'm going to go with North Carolina. I think that they might be a team of destiny this year. And then we have New Mexico and Arizona. Like Chet mentioned, all Cinderella stories ultimately has to come to a close. So after all the chaos that has happened, all chalk in the West. Honestly, this region is probably one of the weakest. So 1 and the 2 seed. I think that North Carolina and Arizona, by far the 2 best teams in that region. All right, let's go on now to Elite Eight. Who you have in the East going to the Final Four and booking their ticket to Phoenix?
Give me the 1 seed. Give me the best team in the country. I'm taking the UConn Huskies.
All right,
Give
Chet,
me the actual best team in the country in the Houston Cougs.
Okay. All right, Jacob. How about the West?
The West, here's where things get really interesting. I've got another Big East team making it. I'm taking the Creighton Blue Jays.
Well, dang, we already have like 3 1 seeds. Boy. Well, we can't have 3 1 seeds. Got to go with Arizona then. I mean, might as well. We cannot go with 3 1 seeds.
There's only 2 1 seeds and a 3 seed.
Well, with North Carolina, that would have made it the 3rd, so I can't do that.
No, I like this one.
By default, let's go with Arizona. I don't like it, but I don't think there's going to be 3 1 seeds making it to this field. So we have 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and Creighton. So we're all going to take over the majority. The vote here is going to go on to the national championship. So the first matchup we're looking at is UConn and Arizona. Jacob, who you have taken this one?
I got UConn again.
I got
Chet,
Arizona.
how about you?
Home field advantage. Home court advantage.
Home court advantage. Oh, boy. You know what? I got to go with UConn, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, Houston and Creighton. Chet, who are you going with?
Houston.
All right, Jacob?
Creighton. You're the tiebreaker.
I'm Houston. All right, UConn and Houston, the battle of the 1 seeds. After all that crap that we went through, we still have 2 1 seeds making it to the national championship game. Jacob, who are you going with in this matchup?
I gotta stick with it. I'm taking the Huskies. I don't think there's a better team in the country.
H-Town, baby.
I'm going with H-Town too. Too many people. That's not going to happen.
Wow.
Nerds. All right, how many total points will be scored in the championship game? How can we decide this as a bunch?
148.
148. All right, we're going to go with that. I mean, he just won a Scottie Scheffler bet. We might as well go with him. And here we go. The confetti rains down on Houston to win the national championship. And that is your official Sports Scramble bracket.
I like it, Tyler. Get that one locked in and saved. We'll see. We'll keep track of that one each week. So March Madness. That took a while, like 30 minutes. If brackets take a minute.
Like shook for like 20 minutes of a 16 seed moving on. I did not expect that.
Yep, I had to do something, boys. Had to keep you guys awake and on your toes somehow. I'm gonna make a lot of people jump in their seats when they listen to the show. So that,
Other big
Grambling's
surprises.
for real. Grambling's for real. I'm gonna take the SWAC champions. Like
See, like the craziest thing, like we had all like those upsets, and we still had like a
that's crazy, huh?
That's how it works out. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I don't think that's how it's gonna be.
So think about this. I think the best team that kind of got snubbed with the way things ended up, especially with the SEC, is Kentucky. So Kentucky is a 3 seed.
I think
they are the strongest 3 seed. They're the strongest 3 seed in all of that lineup. But they also have the toughest road, I think, to get there.
They have the easiest road. If you really look at it, Marquette is a very vulnerable one in Houston. I think that's a team that really relies heavily on their defense. And Houston's got to be able to score on Kentucky to win that game. So, honestly, if I'm picking like a 3 seed or above, it's got to be Kentucky out of their region. I think if you want more, Florida is the team that I think that can get hot. I think that they're up and down team. So I think that if I had to pick,
small.
They are
if
small.
If they face any team that's got any size, they're in trouble.
I think that also too, they just gave a jersey away to Drake, and Drake is the ultimate curse in sports for Houston. So honestly, I don't know, if you're picking Houston, you might want to redo your bracket. Who knows? But I think that if you're looking for an outside shot of the 1 seed, I think that Kentucky's path is set up as long as they get past Texas Tech and NC State. I think that NC State, obviously with their momentum, Texas Tech is one of those teams in the Big 12. So if you want to put a little bit of money on Kentucky making it to the Final Four, they're the team.
My only thing that I'm worried about UConn is with Iowa State. Like, I feel like if they have to play Iowa State and Iowa State does beat BYU pretty convincingly, it could be a big momentum booster considering UConn would be.
I don't even have UConn making it to the Final Four in my bracket.
I don't know. They got a 47% chance to make it to the Final Four, and it just seems pretty likely. I don't know. It's hard.
It's March. Throw all
it's hard to envision them. That's why I said. Well, I told Tyler yesterday. I said, it's hard to envision UConn walking off the court with a loss in the first 3 rounds. Hard to envision.
Anything can happen.
I have it happening.
Other crazy surprises was in another sport. That'd be the NFL with free agency, trades, everything. So there's too many to break down, right? You Google it if you want to see them all. I want each of y'all's craziest, biggest surprise in terms of free agency or trades. Tyler, you start.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Keenan Allen getting traded to the Bears. I just don't know what really went through the mindset of the Chargers. I know that he's an aging wide receiver, but he is coming off one of his best wide receiver seasons. I think that Jacob can attest to this, especially in the fantasy world. He was a top 5. Really, if you're looking at the receivers, Justin Jefferson, he was hurt majority of the season. What really vaulted you high into those worlds was Keenan Allen. So I think that Keenan Allen going to the Bears, I think the Bears have really looked forward to the future now. Shipping off Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers is now all in on Caleb Williams. I think that with them being, you have your number 1 overall pick will be Caleb Williams, and then you have number 9. You can either ship it off, or honestly, I would just go all in on another talented wide receiver. Maybe Malik Neighbors falls to your laps. Maybe you can get Brock Bowers because, Cole Kmet, you have him there, but he's been an inconsistent tight end. But you can also get Roma Dunze there. So I think that you get another talented wide receiver. So pretty much you would go from having only DJ Moore to having DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and also, Roma Dunze. So I think that if you're looking for a team that could go from worst to maybe first, I think that Chicago might be a team to look at because I think that they're definitely gotten better in the offseason.
You mentioned the Justin Fields trade. I'm not shocked that he was traded, but that was my biggest surprise was that he was traded to Pittsburgh after they signed Russell Wilson. He's handled it with grace. I'll give him that, using his ChatGPT generated goodbye letter to Chicago. But I was shocked that Pittsburgh, they win that trade. You give them up a 5th round pick for next year to have a former 1st round pick as your backup quarterback. not a bad gig because, I mean, let's all be real. Russell Wilson's going to lose that locker room by like week 4, and you're going to have Justin Fields on the field playing. So that was my biggest surprise, was that Justin Fields was traded to Pittsburgh for only a 5th-round pick. Saints, you got plenty of them. You could have had him. He's way better than Derek Carr, in my opinion. So, Fletch, what's your biggest surprise for free agency?
Oh, you just mentioned them. The bag over the head, the Aints. The Saints, I don't understand it. Yeah, they got Chase Young, but that's not what they needed. I mean, that there just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because it's not what you needed. I mean, at the end of the day, you needed offense. And getting Chase Young, I get it. Him and Cam would be an amazing duo. And
But really only for the year that they signed him for, because how much longer is Cam Jordan going to play?
who knows? Right. I mean,
Probably
that's
max 5 years.
You think
I
that
don't think
long?
it's that long. I give him 2.
2-3 years. I mean, he's
I mean, I'm saying at max.
he's getting up there in age. But yeah, I think
I mean,
they
their
need
defense would be really good, but the
Their
problem is
defensive line wasn't great this year, so they need somebody.
they
I mean,
haven't done anything so far in free agency to spruce up the offense whatsoever. I mean, that's the disappointing part. And I thought
they
that they
cut
would be
Michael Thomas. There
they
you go.
signed Nathan Peterman.
Yeah. Whoa. We're gonna have the
but
Peter Pecker be our starting quarterback over Derek Carr.
Yeah, that's the problem though. They took no action, and I feel like they were a huge buyer in free agency, and they just ended up sitting on it really. And I think it was more Chase Young probably seeking them out than them seeking Chase Young out. At the end of the day, he wanted to get out of the situation he was in. I get it. Long stint with the Commanders, short stint with the 49ers, and now on to the Saints. So he could be the next guy who plays for 8 different teams. Who knows?
Let's see if he stays healthy. But we'll be, of course, as the headliners come in, we'll be talking about him. Kirk Cousins with the Falcons. Like I mentioned, Wilson with the Steelers. I like Gardner Minshew to the Raiders. I think that's a good chance for him to compete for a starting job there.
Well, I think it's more of a mentor thing, to be honest with you. I think he's more of a mentor for Aiden O'Connell.
Been in the league for a while.
Yeah, so I think that's more of what it is.
Saquon to the division rivals Eagles from the Giants. That one was surprising to see.
A great move for Philly. Fantastic.
Maybe they'll run less pushes.
What a 2-year change though for them. Like, think about it. You had Miles Sanders who virtually did nothing for you. And then you moved on from him. You had Swift here for a while, and now you have a former number 1 overall pick as your starting running back. I mean, that's a really good marketing job by Philly.
I think biggest one is Derrick Henry to the Ravens. That's going to be a scary duo in the backfield.
They're going to be run first offense.
This will be the year that Lamar Jackson will not hit his passing yardage. You know, whatever he's projected for his passing yardage for the season, it will not happen this year. And John Harbaugh's probably going to work on some sort of dual threat backfield shotgun type deal with that going on. But
another running back, was Tony
Pollard
to the Titans too.
Yes, that's an interesting one. Bet the under on the Ravens overall time, how long the games last, because that's going to be a quick one with how much they're going to be running the ball. Let's see, wide receivers, a lot of re-signed.
Well, you also had Eckler going to the Commanders.
I think that's going to hurt his fantasy value, depending on who they draft. Yeah.
It's going to be CMC, and then it's going to be Derrick Henry number 2. Better offense.
Marquise Brown to the Chiefs. That's, I think, a pretty good pick signing for Patrick Mahomes to help booster his wide receiver core.
It's just a replace. I mean, it's a replacement for MVS, is what it is. I mean, that's really.
He wasn't really used right. I mean, Arizona. I mean, you go from Kyler Murray to Patrick Mahomes. I think that Marquise Brown is a wide receiver that's really going to step up. I think he's going to have a big time numbers. Like, as long as he stays healthy, because every season, he's dealt with injuries. As long as he stays healthy, I think that he really could be that wide receiver 1 that the Chiefs really need.
The Jags lost Calvin Ridley to the Titans, but they signed Gabe Davis. It's an interesting swap there.
Yeah,
I think that's a big upgrade.
lot of money to pay not Gabe Davis, Calvin Ridley. 4 years, $92 million.
Yeah, he's still improving a little bit. I need to see more because it
huge.
wasn't that great of a season that he had in Jacksonville. I thought I was having more expectations for him, and that offense just didn't click right.
Yeah. So, like I said, a lot of stuff's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Let's get to NASCAR Neil.
Start your engine!
Start your engines.
Oh.
So this week, NASCAR returned to the last great Coliseum, Bristol, on concrete after experimenting with dirt in the spring for the last 2 years. Josh Berry, the short track veteran, gets his first front row rolling off of P2. The track opted to put down resin as opposed to normal traction compound that created insane tire wear, forcing drivers to have to manage their tires. Well, you got to think a little bit. The Gibbs cars dominated all day. Hamlin takes the win with Truex finishing a close second, making it a back-to-back for Hamlin. And a record number of lead changes in the next-gen era with 54 total lead changes. That's insane. Next week, NASCAR Neil will be live from COTA in Austin for his first race of the year. It'll be the first time at a road course race. So, Neil, have fun down there in Austin. Let's see. I think I don't really want to talk college baseball because we've been going for a while. Yes, LSU lost the series.
It's March Madness time. We get to college baseball in April.
Yeah. But I will acknowledge that we're not skipping it because LSU lost. We'll have our video come out this week to break down the loss to Mississippi State and where they go from here. Gentlemen, last thing, hidden gems. Do we have hidden gems? Anybody got hidden gems?
Yeah, we guess we'll close it out with hidden gems. I'm going to stick it on college basketball. This is a great story. If you haven't listened to this one, Long Beach State fired that head coach a couple of weeks ago, Dan Monson. Usually, you fire head coach like, get the hell out of here. Nope. Monson and Long Beach State agreed to finish out. And what does Long Beach State do? They win the conference championship. They're going dancing. They're facing Arizona. And we'll see if Long Beach State can pull off the unthinkable. So that is definitely a hidden gem.
If they upset Arizona, what do? Do you rehire the coach?
You got to rehire him. Honestly, you got to rehire him now. He did the unthinkable. So I think that he just this is like the big FU toward Long Beach State. I think that Long Beach State, who knows? They might do the unthinkable.
I'd love to see it. Jacob, you got a hidden gem for us?
Hidden gem of the week. If you didn't see the A10 championship this past week, kind of the funniest thing I've ever seen in college basketball. Middle of the game, in the first half between VCU and Duquesne, it just started raining down confetti on the Duquesne side of the stands, and all of the media was covered in confetti. Somebody just happened to hit the wrong button, and all of a sudden it looked like spaghetti falling from the sky.
It would have been worse if they would have lost.
Could you imagine? Maybe they were just getting it out of their system or something.
Who knows?
Somebody had no idea what basketball was. Like somebody just had no idea and was like, "Hey, they win," and they just hit the button.
Yeah,
that's a you had one job moment, and it's like,
and you no longer have that job. That's what that is.
Wild.
Mine, it's kind of hidden. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson facing off, I think in June. I've been seeing a lot of videos come out from Mike Tyson himself. Jake Paul's been pretty quiet. When I first saw this announcement, I was like, this is weird. Jake Paul's just fighting retired boxers. No, Mike Tyson is going to murder this man. Jake Paul's in trouble. It's going to be bad. I'm actually a little scared. I've been seeing these videos. Tyson.
I'll give it one round.
I give him 3. I give him 3 rounds. Tyson with the KO.
I mean, if he lands one knockout punch, he's toast.
Yeah. That's all I got this week.
It's amazing what Nugenix Total T will do for you.
Yeah. That is true. Good little infomercial for them if Tyson takes the dub. But that's all I got, folks. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Of course, March Madness kicking off. Make sure you get your bets placed. Bet responsibly. We are not betting experts.
Jacob and I will bet responsibly. We'll bet wildly.
We'll about that.
But win a lot of money or lose a lot of money right here.
Well,
set yourself.
We're going to be taking advantage of some promos, so it won't be our money.
That is true.
Don't let the secret out. Golly.
It's a normal that they do.
Yeah. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we hope you all have a wonderful week. See ya.